All right, so I was gonna make notes for this video, but as a married man with two young kids, I don't have enough time. And so I'm just gonna do this off the top of my dome. I'm probably gonna forget a few things, but I'll probably do around two, depending on the response to this anyway. But yeah, so okay, disclaimer, technically not been married for 12 and a half years. Been with my missus for 12 and a half years. We've been married for 9 of those, but whatever, semantics, it's the same thing. We've been together 12 and a half years. So yeah, let's get into it. So first up, marriage is dumb. Marriage is dumb. Doesn't make sense. Not very logical. It's risky, but that's why it's beautiful. That's why it's romantic. If it was, if it completely made sense, it just wouldn't be that much to celebrate and so on. It's not just the paper. It isn't just the paper. That paper, getting married, does make a difference. It does feel a lot more meaningful. You can't just break up, right? Divorce can be messy and so on. And therefore, my next point is because it's you don't have that freedom of just breaking up or whatever. You're forced to work on things. You're forced to tell the truth to each other, figure it out, right? Especially if you take this seriously, you got to talk these things out and come to solutions. That you have to understand that romance, the honeymoon phase, is going to end. It's going to dissipate. And you have to accept that, and that's what it is. And what are you going to be left with that, and who you're going to be left with? Do you respect this person? Do you like them? Do you love them? Do you enjoy their company even when times are boring? That's they're good signals if that's the case. That doesn't mean though don't put any effort into being romantic and the romantic side. You have to put some effort into that. You have to schedule things in and put the effort there and go out for meals. And sometimes it's the little things, you know. Sometimes it's bringing home a bottle of wine at the end of the day, or a foot rub, or just those little things. You do have to put effort into that stuff. You can't get too lazy. You can't get too lazy with yourself. You got to keep improving. You got to keep growing yourself. Stay in shape. Try to stay attractive. Try to put effort in when you can. If you're going to go out for dinners, make an effort. Look good. Dress well. Grooming, hygiene, all of that stuff. But of course, when you're at home and relaxing, yeah, they're gonna see you. They're gonna see you in the worst of times, looking like crap. Hopefully, if you've got someone that is okay with that and you're comfortable around doing that. Sex is important. Sex is very important. It's the glue, right? It's the glue between the relationship. Otherwise, you're just roommates. But it will get less over time, of course, especially when kids come into it, especially newborn kids and stuff like that. It's going to get less. I find it very important that quality over quantity, as long as the quantity isn't too little, right? So for example, like once every 3 weeks is better, as long as it's really good and you really enjoy it. It's better than once a week, and when it's you're kind of just doing it to tick that box and one of you doesn't really want it and so on. So if you it's ideally you both want it, you're both enjoying it, both got the energy for it. So I prefer it in that side of things. I yeah you yeah, tricky on the top of my head. When kids come into things, everything gets more difficult. Everything gets more difficult. Less time for each other and so on. You have to carve out time for one another. You have to understand that you guys are not the priorities anymore and the other person's not the priorities. Kids are the priorities. And if you think that kids are going to bring you closer, then you're very naive, and you're probably not. It's not right for you to have kids together, right? You should already be close enough and bring kids in, because you're not going to get closer with kids. Actually, you're probably going to move apart a little bit. But if you're already close, you're already tight, and you don't need that to bring you closer together, then you'll understand that, and that's the case. The other person is not responsible for your happiness, and vice versa. Okay, but that's not to say that you should make the other person unhappy, and that's not to say that you shouldn't be trying to make the other person happier. You have to put in these things and try to make them feel good and so on. But ultimately, the other person should be in a place of needing everything they have from themselves, and you're just a complement, and it's the same for you, and the other way around. The other person is just a complement to your life, just adds to your life. It's not an absolute necessity. You have to try your best to figure out your problems, be honest with each other. Communication is important. But, and so is vulnerability. You should be able to be with someone that you're vulnerable with and you can talk about your problems, but not every single problem. Some things is best you deal with yourself, or maybe with somebody else that you're going to talk to, whatever it is. You don't have to unload your problems onto everyone, because if you did that, unload all your problems onto your partner, because if you did that, you'll probably end up just being really annoying and moany. And especially with women, they don't want to hear you complaining all the time. They want to know that you can figure shit out. In modern day is relationships. Most cases are that they're both working, right? You gotta have 2 wages to sustain a home. So if you're a guy, that means you gotta do put some effort into the chores and the housework. You've got to find a balance there at least. You can't leave it all to her. She can't go to work as well full time and then come home and do all the housework and you do nothing, just because that's the male and female roles. Kind of have to accept that a little bit. It is what it is. It is a teamwork. You are a team. You should view it as a team. However, there should be someone who's more of the leader, and ideally that is you as the guy, as the man. You are a little bit more the leader. She trusts in you. She can lean on you. You take charge a little bit. Definitely that believer in that being the case. Don't give each other time. Give each other time. You got to have your own time. You got to carve out times for yourself, and whether that be training by yourself, going for walks on your own, spending time with your friends, and same for your partner as well. That's very important. You can't just be on top of each other all the time. That is also very key, and being comfortable with the other person just having their own things and their own time. Trust is obviously trust is massive, and once that trust is broken, I don't think there's really much coming back from that. So essentially what I'm saying is never cheat and never accept cheating. It's not worth it. Really isn't worth it. Other things, top of my head, yeah, if she hasn't done it yet, then test the waters on her taking up the back door. Maybe stick a thumb up there every now and then, see if she likes it. Other ones, trying to think of everything that I've said so far. Yep, just remember another one. Look, you're going to go through hard times. You're going to go through times where one of you is not happy, or when both of you are unhappy, and that's just the reality of a relationship. If you commit to a relationship, you commit to a marriage, you're going to go through those times. You're going to have those moments. I see too many people quit when it first happens, where you're going through some times, both being unhappy. You know, those times might last a few days, might last weeks, might last months. You have to try your best. You have to try your best to figure that out. Give it absolutely everything. Try everything to get back to happier places. In most cases, when you're both committed to that, it will work out. Yeah, of course, at the end of the day, if you're in a horrible relationship, toxic relationship, it's just not working out, you've tried absolutely everything. Yeah, probably better than you go your separate ways, but it does become more complicated with kids, of course. But yeah, those are big ones. Yeah, top of my head, they're probably the ones that I can think of top of my head right now. What we're in 8 minutes in. I'll probably come up with some more. It'd be good to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. Add to this, add your experiences if you're also in long-term relationships and you're married and so forth. Love to hear your opinions. Maybe I'll do a round 2. I guarantee I'm going to turn this off and be like, I should have said that. I should have said that. Yeah, they're the ones right now that I can think of. So let me know what you think.